Okay.
All right. No. There's a big like theoretical physics or like actual physics.
Both. I don't like them. Okay.
Like oh.
No.
All right. I mean, I love physics.
How do you feel
I love
about
my brother.
biology? Biology is the worst class I've ever taken in my life.
Actually,
Mitochondria is the powerhouse
It's
of the
geometry.
cell.
I could tell you my
You're
Krebs
right.
cycle
It's not algebra 2.
I wish. What Madeline? Don't talk like that.
Okay, so we are doing lesson 11, and we are going to find
That's what I got with the lines about.
midpoints.
I did the little half lines because it was a radius.
Okay, so in your own language, tell me what the midpoint, how do you find the midpoint between 2 points? Yeah, Tobin.
It's halfway in between both, so you add both, you divide it.
Yes, okay, that's the trick, that's the easy way. Now, I didn't realize this until I was older in life, and now I'm embarrassed because I didn't realize it, but it's okay. How do you figure out, what's the fastest way to figure out halfway between my age and your age? You subtract, and then you cut it in half, and then you add it to the lower age. So there's a faster way, what Tobin said. Halfway between two numbers is just the average of the two numbers. So how do you find the average of two numbers? Add them up and divide by 2. So let's say I'm, how old are you, Janae?
I am almost 15, so it's close enough.
I'm gonna go with 14 because that's easier to, and I'm 48. So halfway between 48 and 14. Well, I could subtract to get down to, what is that? 34 divided by 2, 17. So 17 plus 14, what is that? Like 31? So 31 is halfway between our ages. Or, what's 48 plus 14? 62 divided by 2, 31. That works great. Isn't that awesome? That's a trick. You'll use that in life. You'll use it. Okay? Now you could do it the other way. Subtract, divide by 2, add it to, but see how that's so much more math than you need to do. Don't do that. Don't hurt yourself. Okay? So the midpoint, this is actually, midpoint, this is just a definition, I guess. The midpoint, this is how you spell midpoint in math. C of AB, line segment AB, has coordinate that is basically the average of coordinates of A and B. Can you see that? Okay. So C equals A plus B over 2. Right? Okay, so if I had a number line here, here's A, here's B, and here's M for midpoint, C, sorry. We actually gave it a letter, C. So if you knew the coordinates of A and B, so if the coordinates of A and B are 2 and 8, what's C? What's the midpoint of 2 and 8?
C. Oh. I'm sorry. 5.
5. All right, so what did you do? Did you add them together and divide by 2? Or did you go 8 minus 2? There's 6 in between, so if you add 3 to 2, it's 5. See how that's way more math than you need to do. Whoa. Okay. So the midpoint of AB, of line segment AB on a coordinate plane is the midpoint on AB that is equidistant from A to B. Okay, so this is cool when it's a number line, whatever, right? But if I wanted to find the coordinate, so for example, if I did this little thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yay. So 2, 8. Let's say that is our A. And let's say 8, 4 is our B. So this is 8, 4. This is 2, 8. Can you calculate the midpoint? Where's the midpoint's coordinate going to be? Well, you could figure out that distance, I guess, using the distance formula. Remember, D equals the square root of parentheses x1 minus x2 parentheses squared plus parentheses. That seems too confusing. Okay? So don't worry about the distance. How do you find that? Well, use your gut. How do you figure out the coordinate that's halfway between? How do you figure out the x coordinate?
You divide by 2.
Yeah, you can find the average of the x coordinates, right? So what's this? That's 2. So the midpoint, which is about right there, we're going to say that m equals the average of the x coordinates. So what's halfway between 2 and 8? Well, we just talked about that. That'd be 5, right? So 2 plus 8 is 10, divided by 2 is 5. Okay, or you can just kind of count it over. And then what's halfway between 4 and 8? 6, because 12 divided by 2 is 6. So let's see where 5, 6 is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boom. So there's 5, 6. So basically, you're finding the average of the x's and the average of the y's. That's it. Pretty simple. So if you wanted an official theorem or official formula, the midpoint is x1 plus x2 divided by 2. So that's the average of the x's. And then y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So that's the average of the y's. That's pretty doable, right? So you don't have to go through the distance formula and figure out how far they are apart and then just add half the distance. No, that's more trouble than you need to do.
Is that just a little comma there?
Little comma, yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is a coordinate, right? Here's the x coordinate of the midpoint. Here's the y coordinate. Okay, so your homework is going to look like this. Here's 1A. Write the coordinate of the midpoint of this line segment, AB.
And would we have to like draw it?
Now you could count it through because this is going to be kind of nice, but
It's 4. The answer is 4.
you can just look at it and you can tell what it is, right? The coordinate, the midpoint is at 4. But if this was not very countable, if this was 216 and this was 658, then you don't want to count that distance, right? You don't want to, almost there.
I can do
Does
it.
that look like it's halfway? No. Just add them together, divide by 2. 2 plus 6 divided by 2, so it's 4. Okay, now find the midpoint of this guy. Find the midpoint of AB, but A is 1, 2, and B is 5, 6. Now you could graph it and then see where it ends up on the graph if you wanted to, or you could just throw it into that midpoint formula to find that. So while you're throwing it into this midpoint formula, I'm going to graph it. 1, 2,
It's 3 and 4.
and 5 and 6. That was so much faster than what I did. Okay, and then if I look halfway between, it looks like it's about right there. And so it looks like it's 3, 4. 3, 4. Oh, you already said that. So it's faster just to throw it into that formula. M is 1 plus 5 divided by 2. Do you see how I got 1 and 5? Those are just the x coordinates. So add them up, divide by 2. 2 and 6. So that's just 6 divided by 2 is 3. 8 divided by 2 is 4, and you're done. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. What?
Yeah.
Okay, we good on that midpoint? So you might get something crazy like a triangle, and you're going to be asked to find the midpoint of the sides. Well, guess what? A triangle is 3 line segments. And you know how to find the midpoint of a line segment. Average of the x's, average of the y's. So I'm not going to waste your time doing that. So that is basically lesson 11.